What's up, everybody? Welcome to Kinda Funny Games Daily for Wednesday, January 16th, 2019. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the rogue one, Gary Whitta.
Good morning.
How are you, sir?
I'm good.
It's been a while.
Yeah, and I'm still getting used to this coming in early.
Yeah.
When I came into the office this morning, the kind of funny towers.
Sure.
You were the only one here.
Yeah.
I'm used to coming in later in the day when it's buzzing and
Stuff's happening, people are screaming, Nick's being inappropriate.
It was you all on your lonesome.
All here, yeah. And it was one of those, I had gotten in early today. I got a flight out afterwards.
I thought you ran a tight ship here, but it seems like people just roll in whenever they feel like
Gary, we've been working everybody really hard, so I don't
Usually I come in significantly earlier. Today was...
What happened today, Big Kev Dog? You just got here about 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, I overslept.
Yeah.
Paula's been making me breakfast, and this week it hasn't worked out that I've overslept, so I woke up in a panic every day.
Yeah.
But with enough time to get here without any problem.
Sure.
So yesterday she was like, I'm going to for sure make this happen. I was like, all right. She's like, I'm setting an alarm. I was like, okay. So my alarm went off, but I was like, no, she set her alarm for 8. So I'm going to go sleep, and then at 8 I'll wake up.
Yeah.
Woke up at 9:37. I was like, oh my God.
Do you?
I need to go.
Are you a snoozer? Do you snooze?
No, normally I take my alarms very seriously.
Yeah.
But, I put too much confidence in this Apple alarm, and here I am late,
What was it, the Apple alarm, or was it misset or something?
I don't know. I think it was set on silent.
Gotcha.
She always has it on silent, so.
But the point is, the story you're telling me seems to be the alarm went off at the designated time, so that worked.
That's
but then
the
you just
normal
went back.
alarm.
But then you just went back to sleep.
Yeah.
Well, Paula made a big deal apparently last night. She's going to take care of it. So Kev's normal alarm goes off, and he's like, you know what? I don't need to worry about it.
Well said.
I trust my wife, and that was his first mistake.
Oh, so you're putting it on the wife.
He sure is. He sure is.
Wow.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you through the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show. Patreon.com/kindafunnygames. You can subscribe at the bronze tier, ask us questions. You can subscribe at the silver tier, get the show ad-free as an MP3 and as a video each and every day, along with all the other shows ad-free and all that jazz and whatever. And then you get to watch us record it live, twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. If you're watching live, you have a special job. Go to kindafunny.com/you're wrong and tell us what we screw up as we screw it up so we can set the record straight for everybody watching later on youtube.com/kindafunnygames and listening on podcast services around the globe. Housekeeping for you. Today's my last day in the office. After this, I'm going off to New York City to host the Star Trek Discovery Season 2 Red Carpet Thursday evening. That's at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. You can tune in to Facebook.com/Star Trek CBS. Watch me host it there. It will be put up eventually on YouTube.com/kindafunny. You can see me interviewing all the stars of Star Trek Season 2. Are you excited?
I'm excited for you.
Yeah?
Because, that's a fun thing to do. Go host the red carpet and hang out with Star Trek royalty.
And this is the thing. I talked about it, on the Kinda Funny podcast yesterday. I went to the Deadly Class screening, right?
Yeah.
But there I was just some schmo. None of the cast knew me. Here I'm going to interview the cast, and then I'm going to go see the screen with them, and then I'm going to party with them afterwards. So if I don't come back, I married somebody from Star Trek Season 2.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
That could well be the case.
Just letting you know.
You and Michelle Yeoh, maybe?
Yeah. You kidding me? Yeah.
Why not? I hope Jen's not watching this.
Jen's never watches. You know what I mean? She acts like
you can get away with whatever
exactly,
you want.
It doesn't.
That's what you get for not watching.
Exactly. Of course, you can subscribe. It's Star Trek Discovery is on CBS All Access exclusively. You can get all of Season 1 right now. And then tune in to twitch.tv/Andy Cortez at 4 p.m. Pacific on Saturday to watch Andy play After Charge with the community. If you want to play with Andy, it's simple. You need to go to his Twitter right now, Maximum Cortez, go into his Discord server and type #AfterCharge in the chat during this Kinda Funny Games Daily or any of them this week to get a code on Xbox from Andy Cortez and Kinda Funny. And then today we're brought to you by Skillshare, but I'll tell you about that later. For now, let's begin the show with what is and forever will be the Roper Report. Time for some news.
What's in the news, Greg?
Wow. Gary's bright and
How
chipper
many
in the morning.
stories?
We have 3 stories.
I'm so tired of coming in here on days when nothing's happening.
Oh, you got a day of
excited
stuff
to come
today.
in on a day when finally there's some big news.
Gary!
Big big news.
Before we even get to the big news, I do want to point out that as we're recording this in 30 minutes at 10:30, the Mortal Kombat live stream begins with their announcement. So if they announce more Ninja Turtles or something, Barrett,
So we
give
can
me a
have
shout.
You're gonna give us late breaking developments.
I will.
And
Okay, all right.
I don't want like bullshit stories. Like, oh, guess what? They confirmed the You Fucking Fight. I know that.
Okay.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That can wait till tomorrow.
Yeah.
But if they show Underdog, if Underdog the cartoon character is going to be in Mortal Kombat, I need to know that.
Is that's the character that would you would consider
That would be
the
the
most
out of the blue one,
newsworthy?
wouldn't it?
Everybody's in Smash. Why can't everybody be in Mortal
Well,
Kombat?
you know, that's
Exactly.
what I was thinking. What they could do is, since they won't put him in Smash, Waluigi.
Ooh.
Smart. Good job. Good job.
I think he would fit the Mortal Kombat milieu quite well.
Breaking spines, shattering that X-ray stuff.
What's Waluigi's fatality, do you think?
He just cries. He cries and drowns you in his tears. Number one, EA has canceled its open world Star Wars game. This is from Jason Schreier at Kotaku, who broke the news yesterday. It's got most of his story and an update. I urge you to go to Kotaku, of course, read Jason's entire piece of reporting, and more importantly, check out the thing he just put up this morning called EA's Troubled Decade of Star Wars Games, recapping the entire terrible deal that this has been. And that's my opinion.
Troubled is putting it lightly, I think.
And let me tell you, so many of you wrote into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames with Star Wars questions. We will get to them. But let's start at the top with Jason at Kotaku. Electronic Arts has canceled its open world Star Wars game, according to three people familiar with goings-ons at the company. The game, announced alongside the shutdown of Visceral Games back in 2017, has been in development at EA's large office in Vancouver. EA Vancouver, a large studio that mostly handles support for a variety of the publisher's games, including FIFA and Battlefront, had been working on this open-world Star Wars game since October 2017, when EA closed Visceral Games. Until then, Visceral, best known for its popular Dead Space horror series, was developing its own Star Wars game. That project, codenamed Ragtag, was a linear action-adventure game directed by Uncharted director Amy Hennig. EA Vancouver has been assisting on the project, and when EA closed Visceral Games on October 17th, 2017, the Vancouver studio took it over. But it wouldn't be accurate to say that EA Vancouver's Star Wars was the same game as Ragtag. When EA Vancouver took over, it rebooted this Star Wars project entirely, keeping some of the art assets but transforming it into an open world game. Now, that project is canceled too. EA did not immediately respond to a request for comment. EA had not shown any of EA Vancouver's open world Star Wars game publicly, but the publisher talked about it when it announced Visceral's demise. Quote, "It has become clear that to deliver an experience that players will want to come back to and enjoy for a long time to come, we needed to pivot the design," the company said at the time. A development team from across EA Worldwide Studios will take over development on this game, led by a team from EA Vancouver that has already been working on the project, end quote. Update from Jason last night at 10:17 p.m. Since the publication of this article, I've talked to several more people familiar with EA Vancouver's now canceled open world Star Wars game. This project, which was codenamed Orca, was very early in development, but would involve playing as a scoundrel or bounty hunter who would explore various open world planets and work with different factions across the Star Wars universe. When EA's top decision makers looked at their roadmap for the next few years, they decided that they needed something earlier than the planned release date for Orca, according to two people familiar with what happened. So they canceled Orca in favor of a smaller scale Star Wars project that's now aimed for much sooner, likely late 2020, which also happens to be around the time that I've heard next-gen consoles will launch. Parentheses from Jason. Might be a bit earlier, might be a bit later. From what I've heard, next-gen plans are definitely still in flux. To EA's credit, those people said the publisher did not lay anyone off as part of the transition. This news comes at a time of cost-cutting across the industry at some major publishers, including both EA and Activision, as we've reported. Some at the studio also hope that Orca might be restarted after this new project is finished. Gary, how you feeling? As a Star Wars fan, as somebody who contributed to the lore of Star Wars with Rogue One, and a video game fan, more importantly.
I mean, it's embarrassing, isn't it?
Yes.
Don't you think?
Yes. The hits keep on coming for EA on the Star Wars
We
deal.
were talking about this prior to the show when we were sitting around getting the show notes together, and I said to you, so EA now, if you remember this, the deal was signed I believe in 2013.
Chris S. writes in to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and says, according to a November 2013 Engadget article, which cited Eurogamer, links are below, EA would hold on to the Star Wars license for 10 years. If true, seeing as the deal was made in 2013, EA has until around 2023, 2024 to get something more out of Disney before they could renegotiate the deal.
So, you've got, look at it this way. Deal was signed in 2013. It's a 10-year deal. So we're pretty much just over halfway through the deal at this point. We're kind of at the halfway point. So let's imagine I'm Bob Iger. I'm the head of Disney. And I call in the EA guys. We're at the halfway point in the deal.
Yeah.
Let's check in and see how you guys have been doing. What do you give us a progress report? Well, we put out 2 Battlefront games, one of which didn't have a story at all. Both of which were kind of mediocre.
Yeah.
And one of which ended up being a major embarrassment because of the microtransaction fiasco. Not just to EA, but to Disney and the Star Wars brand. I mean, Disney had to get involved and say, sort this out because this is annoying us now. Like this at the highest levels.
This has resonated this highly.
At the highest levels of Disney and Star Wars, this is embarrassing to us. So fix it. And they had to very, very quickly and publicly fix it and apologize and take the microtransactions out of the game and do a bunch of other stuff. So you've done that. You had a game that was a linear, Uncharted type Star Wars experience game, Ragtag.
Yeah.
Which was being developed by the writer of the Uncharted games and probably the best narrative designer in the business. And it looked phenomenal. Cancelled that. Rolled all your assets and everything into this new, bigger, more ambitious EA Vancouver open world game, not Ragtag, but Orca.
Yeah.
Cancelled that.
Yeah.
Okay, what else? Nothing. That's what we've done.
That's been our 6 years.
That's what we've done in 5 years. A Battlefront game based on a franchise that is all about story that has no story. A second one that has a story but has a major microtransaction embarrassment
fiasco
that went to the highest levels of Disney saying you've got to cut this out. This is embarrassing. And then 2 cancelled games. All right, well, good checking, guys. See you in another 5 years.
You're right on top of it.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the movie side of it, right? Churning out movie after movie.
The movie side has been going great guns. Their movie, they've released. It takes, if anything. So let's get this right. So since this deal started, there have been twice as many Star Wars movies released as games.
Well, checks out, right? Because it's 2 in the trilogy.
So you've got
Rogue One and Solo
plus Rogue, and so two trilogy, 2 standalone.
Yeah.
So we've got 4 we've got 4 movies already out and another one coming out this Christmas.
Yeah.
Compared to 2 games and 2 cancelled games.
Yeah.
It's just, I mean, I'm just going to say, I think if I were the head of Disney, I don't know what is in the contract language, but if there was a get out clause or some kind of pull the plug thing where halfway through the deal, if you're not satisfied, you can just take the license away, I would take the license away from EA because it's been catastrophically mismanaged and it's an embarrassment. And Star Wars is the crown jewel. The crown jewel of video game franchise licenses.
Franchises, right? Yeah.
And EA have squandered it to I would say a negligent degree. Like if I was an EA shareholder, I'd be fucking furious at the way that the way that they must have paid a fortune for this 10-year license.
And you had to have assumed, all right, cool, we're not going to cash in, but you're EA, you're one of, if not the biggest publisher going, right? Like you can't, and you get Amy, and you actually start making. It looks like you're making the right moves. All right, great.
I saw a bunch of that game, and it looked terrific.
When did you see it? Long time ago.
I saw after it was cancelled. I saw some stuff.
Okay.
I saw what they had up to that point, and it was far from finished.
Sure, of course,
but it looked amazing.
Yeah,
and it would have been. It basically would have been Star Wars Uncharted, which I'm very excited about.
Oh,
and And I think what they...
Especially after what we'd seen from 1313,
but
right?
But my understanding of it is what they were saying was all the way through. It said, but we don't want to make Star Wars Uncharted. Well, maybe don't hire the narrative director of the Uncharted games to make it for you then.
Yeah.
Like, figure out what it is you actually want. So they cancel that. They throw all their resources into this other more ambitious game. And then they cancel that. Now, I'm hearing, what is the deal with this 2020 game that is supposedly coming? They actually have one early.
According to Jason here, he's hearing there's something smaller, right, on the
something
fringe.
smaller they can get out more quickly. What's actually left?
Smaller scale Star Wars project that's now aimed for much sooner.
The Respawn game is really the only thing left ticking that
we know a lot
we can
about
be hopeful about,
Star
right?
Wars,
Optimistic about Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
That, I think, has the potential to be great because it's story-based. Respawn is a tippity top developer.
Yeah.
I think that has the opportunity, the potential to kind of right the ship a little bit. But the reality is, if I were Bob Iger or whoever makes these deals at Disney at this level, and I was about to sign a 10-year deal with Disney, and I had a crystal ball and I was able to see halfway through the deal what I would have got for my investment, what EA would have delivered in the first 5 years of that 10-year deal, there's no way I would have signed the deal.
Well, what's interesting, and again, I'm telling you, Kotaku.com, go find Jason Schreier's article, EA's Troubled Decade of Star Wars Games, where he goes through this. He talks about how the people who put together this deal on EA's side, right, aren't even around anymore. No one's there. And he concludes the article, I think, very poignantly. It's not clear what will happen with Star Wars in the coming years. I don't know the specifics of Disney's deal with EA, or whether it has any out clauses, or whether there are conversations on either side about bringing it to an end. For years now, fans have expressed desire for the exclusivity deal to go away. Maybe it should have never been made in the first place, which I think is the biggest thing, right? For me, when you talk about this, and Chris S. chimes in, he had a whole question after that little bit of information. My main question is, how long do you think EA will keep hold of the Star Wars license? Could Disney take it back? Would EA try to extend to actually get something besides Battlefront or the Old Republic out?
So we don't know. We don't know what's in this deal.
My thing is,
Disney might be stuck with it for the next 5 years.
And that's the most interesting thing. You know Disney. I know them from just watching them become this giant corporation, right? And they have a lot of lawyers. There has to be something buried in that contract that protects Disney's assets and IPs.
Yeah.
And you have to imagine whatever the trip line is, whatever the landmine is that gets them out of this, we have to be close to. What have they produced, right? And that was the thing with the Battlefront 2 thing, where there were stories of Disney coming down and being like, what the fuck is going on? And why is this happening this way? If it is that we have to get through 10 years of this, it's for sure over. When we get to what it would be, we're at 6 years now. There's
no way. I mean, there's no way it would be renewed. At this point, I think neither party really wants that.
And I feel like if you are the Star Wars franchise, if you're the brain trust there, I think you look at what Marvel's doing with Marvel games, and you're like, fuck. That's what we should do, right? Where I think, and I don't mean to come in and just toot the horn of Marvel games all the time, but I think they've got it so right. Where it is, hey everybody, we're Marvel Games, and it's Bill Roseman and a couple other folks over there, and Mike, and they want to sit there and be like, hey, we're going to team up with great developers of all shapes and sizes and have them do projects that we think are awesome and really do the stuff. And that means that you get, Spider-Man from Insomniac, which is amazing and awesome, incredible and exclusive, and you don't have to worry about all these different problems, and they give them all the time they need to make the game great.
Yeah.
Or so I've heard. You have mobile games, right, that like, hey, D3, you're great with Puzzle Quest. Let's make a Marvel Puzzle Quest game. Great. You have them, hey, Platinum, let's see what you can do with Ultimate Alliance on Switch. Awesome. And then you even have different stuff of the when they teamed up with, it was Sanzaru made it, but it was the VR game they did that I can't remember the name of. Can you Google that for me, Barrett, back there? What am I looking for? The Marvel Sanzaru game that was VR. Ultimate Powers, Marvel Powers Unite, something like that. But again, here's an interesting idea. We'd like to make a VR game. Okay, cool. Who was it? Powers United.
So what's tricky about it though is what would pulling the license actually look like? Because I wouldn't want the Respawn game to go away. I wouldn't want everything that EA is working on to be currently cancelled.
Right.
But if it was legally possible, what I would say to EA is, okay, look, we're 5 years in. We've got the right to revisit this contract, based on our very clever get out clauses that our, lawyers put in. We don't want to look. Obviously, you guys have been the first 5 years have been extremely disappointing. We want out. Finish. So the rule is now finish the games that you need that you've got in development. Finish the Respawn game. Finish the 2020 title, but don't start anything new. You're not authorized to start any new projects. And in the meantime, the deal's no longer exclusive. We now have the rights to go talk to developers and publishers a la carte with the Star Wars franchise, the Star Wars license. And we think we'll get better results that way.
100%.
What I would love to see, and this is a pipe dream because they'll never do it, I would really love to see Disney just restart LucasArts and just bring all the development in-house.
Yeah. Well, it's like, I don't even know if you need to do that. And that's what I think why I compliment Marvel Games so much is the fact that rather than go in-house, right, and worry about the things worry about what they don't know, or worry about, worry about having to bring on developers and bring them up to speed. I love the idea of, we love our IP, we understand video games as an industry, we know what studios are good at what, and we want to go team those people up with it, right? That's what we always talk about.
Yeah.
Thank you for the you're wrong. It's Team Ninja working on Ultimate Alliance 3, not Platinum Games, like I said. Thank you very much, McLovin.
But, Insomniac might have a phenomenal idea for a Star Wars game that we'll never see because they're frozen out by this.
But I mean, like, think about it this way. When this happened,
could have a killer idea for a Star Wars game.
This
they would make
yesterday.
a killer Star Wars game. We'll never see it.
Devolver was like, just help, let us make a Star Wars. Like, think about it, like how if you have a universe as wide as Star Wars, the amount of things you could do with the amount of different developers, from the smallest indies and letting them do a narrative adventure that's told through the hollow stories or whatever, all the way up to, some AAA studio you want to do. And that's where it gets interesting of, like, if you have Marvel, who's a Disney property, working exclusively with PlayStation, how rad would it be if Star Wars owned it all kit and caboodle and didn't have to worry about exclusivity deals, and teaming up with a Microsoft game for the coalition to go out and do this, or with a first-party Sony, or with anybody to go everywhere?
I just wonder, like, what kind of blowback, if any, there is from something like this. Like, does Andrew Wilson get summoned to Burbank to answer for this, or does he have to go stand in front of his shareholders who say, look, you paid a fortune for this license, we paid a fortune. I understand you didn't do the deal, you inherited it, but EA paid a fortune for this license. It's your responsibility to be a good steward of this license. And all we've seen is one failure or embarrassment after another. It's not good enough. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And purely as Star Wars fans, every time we hear about a big Star Wars game being cancelled, it saddens me.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see all these games.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's just such a cool universe to exist in, right? And get out there and do all manner of things. That's why it gets in. You're going to be a scoundrel. You're going to be a bounty hunter. You're going to be a Jedi. That all sounds awesome. I'd like to see that explored.
Somebody made the point. I can't remember if it was in one of the questions that we got today or in Jason Schreier's report. But, like, the point was made, and it's well taken. It's not easy to make Star Wars games. It's not, and certainly not easy to make good ones. If you were to do a complete retrospective of every Star Wars video game ever made, there are far more bad ones than good ones. There's a handful of really good ones, and many, 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 many bad ones. So it's not easy to make Star Wars, especially not in this era where now everything has to be canonically kind of joined up. Back in the days of the old expanded universe, you could go off and do whatever you wanted. And Lucasfilm would still, Lucas Licensing as it was back then, would still have say over it and say this isn't good enough, or canonically you need to do this or that, and they would still keep it straight. But nowadays, in the age of everything have to be, the games and the books and the comics and the films and the TV series all have to canonically kind of sync up. It's even harder to make these games. Lucasfilm are keeping a much closer eye on it than they used to back in the LucasArts days, I think. And so there's a lot of pressure. You got pressure from Disney, you got pressure from EA, you got pressure from Lucasfilm, you got pressure from the players, from the user base. It's tough, and so I do sympathize. It's not easy to make these games, but EA is probably, if not the number one of the top 3 game companies in the world. If anyone should be able to do it, they should be able to do it. The track record so far is pathetic, and they must do better.
Well, this was the thing. When they announced this deal, you hoped, EA winning Worst Company in the Year, all these awards people vote for to make them look like idiots online. You hope this was them turning a corner and really, going with Peter Moore's message all the time, right? That they wanted to do better. They wanted to put gamers first, which sounded like such a buzzword shit. But we did see Unravel, and we did see movements, and we did see honest conversations from them. I'll never forget talking to Moore at our first E3 is Kind of Funny. And him being like, listen, man, we know Unravel's not going to make money, but we make so much money off Madden, we make so much money off FIFA. We can do that. We can take a loss here and we can do that. And it's like, okay, cool. That's the mindset you needed to have for this license. Because what it smacks of when you look at it now and how it's snapped back, right? And this isn't to take away from the talented people who have worked on it and all this stuff. And the good people at EA, I'm sure, who want to make Star Wars great and want to do great shit. What it smacks of is an old license deal. We're getting, and I'm talking about EA again, but we're getting the Batman license and we're making Batman Begins, and you play the game like, oh, this isn't good. This is clearly just a cash in, right? And when you see them taking, we got Amy, we got Visceral, we're going to give them, you know what? it's done. Maybe the game was way off track. Maybe they missed milestones. Maybe there's a million things going on. What it looks like, though, right, from the outside, especially on the heels of the microtransaction shit of Battlefront 2, what it looks like is you again you are that EA people make jokes about and vote. You are the faceless corporation that just cares about a bottom line and doesn't care about the art and just cares about how many dollars and cents you can get out of the thing. And I'm not saying that's really what happens, but this is what they're painting this picture to be. And in the same thing here, why even fucking tell us then? If this, you know what I mean? Why even mention this game that nobody knew about until you closed Visceral? You tried to give us a shit sandwich, right? Here's some good news. Here's really bad news. Here's some good news. You know what I mean? Like, just don't even do it. Instead, just take it right on the chin next time and be like, listen, we're working on it. And again, this is what we come back to with why EA's in the place they are and why it smacks of a 2008 video game publisher, a 2008 EA. Where is the person? Who is their person to come out and talk about any of this? Right? This is what I talk about all the time. If you want, the reason PlayStation 4 is successful is because they said we're all about gamers, and here's Shuhei and Adam and Mark Cerny and faces. Why is Xbox even? Why do I cheer for Xbox even though they're behind? Phil Spencer's out there, right? Right now, who's the face of EA that isn't somebody I just see at E3? And why aren't they on every podcast right now or putting out videos being like, listen, guys?
Well, and that's just the public facing thing. That's the messaging. Do you think that EA would have, maybe they tried to have something like this? I'm not entirely sure, but do you think they would have benefited? Whether this was like Patrick Soderlund or whoever, I don't know. I mean, he's gone now. But like, do you think they would have benefited from EA having like a Kevin Feige kind of character at the center?
Oh my God,
like a czar.
Yeah.
Who's like, right, I'm the point person for this. I'm running it. I'm the visionary. I'll be the main point of contact with Disney and Lucasfilm. I'll make sure that everything joins up canonically the way it should. But I'm going to be in charge of running all these Star Wars games and making sure that these games are what we want them to be. I don't know if they had someone like that. For a while, it seemed like they were making the right moves, right? Putting their best, putting DICE, putting Respawn, putting Visceral, putting Amy Hennig, their best. They were throwing their best assets at it.
Yeah.
So it's not like they considered this a second string license or they weren't trying. They seemed like they were devoting their best assets. But the first Battlefront game, I think. I'll give them a pass on the first one because they were kind of behind the eight ball the minute they made the license. They had to have something come out in time, to hit when the new Star Wars movies were hitting.
And importantly, that it gets
So they
glossed
kind of
over a lot.
rushed it.
The first Battlefront, really fun to play. Really.
I would disagree with that.
Me and Kevin played a lot of it, and I'm not even that big of a Star Wars guy, right? Like, I think just mechanically.
But it was just random running around shooting each other. I think the problem that I have, and I'm a story guy, so maybe I'm biased, but like the entire Star Wars universe, the entire franchise is predicated on story first. It's myth making. It's classic storytelling. So the first game they put out, I understand they were in a rush, but the first game they put out is completely devoid of story. Sorry, that's one strike right away. The second game comes out, they try to make it right. They do put a story in there, and it was a decent enough story, right? It did okay.
What about Mitch and Walt?
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Mitch Dyer and Walt Williams, word up to them. They did a good job. But the microtransaction thing totally sunk it.
Right. And eclipsed anything that could have possibly happened in that story.
Absolutely. And that became the narrative. And they were behind the eight ball on the narrative for that from the beginning. And when it got to the point that I'm pretty sure, I never had confirmations, but I'm pretty sure that at some point, someone very, very high up at Lucasfilm or Disney had to call EA and say, fucking fix this because you're embarrassing us. And that's why it got fixed so quickly. Andrew, oh my God, as of today, we are shutting this all down. Like, I want to see results today.
Yeah.
Not one more day of this microtransaction bullshit. We're seeing stories about how Star Wars is inducing children to gamble. No. That is not the way Disney does business. Fix it and fix it today. And that's how it got fixed. So it went to the highest levels. What an embarrassment. And now 2 major cancelled games in a row.
Yeah.
Come on.
And this is what I'm talking about. Is like who is the czar? Who is this person? Right? Like, again, as the analog to this, just the other side of the coin. Again with Marvel games, right? Like, that Bill Roseman speaks for Marvel games and can talk about any of the games they're doing and where they're at. What? Imagine in the same way when you think about Phil Spencer when he comes out and he announces all the first party studios they've brought on and what they're going to one day work on. They're working on stuff we can't. Like in 2019, silence And the lack of clarity is not taken as, okay, well, they're working on it in good faith. It's taken on as they don't care. This is what's happening. And this is doing nothing for EA's reputation that they already have and how tarnished it's been for so long with gamers. This does nothing like what they're doing here.
But what difference really would it make to have like a Phil Spencer type character out there, you know, just kind of rattling off the talking points? Yeah, you know, we've decided to repurpose our resources here or there or whatever. At some point, because I'm sure Jason's reporting is correct. His reporting is usually pretty reliable. I suspect that we will see an official release from EA in the coming days that has, the focus tested bullshit talking point.
But yeah, see, you're right there.
Yeah,
exactly.
who cares?
But you're doing it. You're going the traditional way of what they're doing. Yes, you're the thing we hate so much when I read these things and you go, it's word salad, Greg. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like. You need someone who can just talk to you as a human being. But the problem then is that you get into EA being this giant corporation with so many different shows. That's why they can't have that happen, apparently.
For me, the impetus, the way to fix this is not to have better messaging.
Well, I think I think the ship's left on. We're way out on that.
The only thing we want to see now is the games. We want to see the games, and they keep canceling the games. Right now, the only thing they have left, unless it's something we don't know about, is if let's say that Respawn dropped a trailer today for Jedi Fallen Order,
which would be a brilliant fucking idea.
It looks amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, if you're at Respawn right now, how much pressure is on you? Like, you're the last man standing. All the other games,
and everybody's like, have them take away the license, and you're like, oh fuck no, please God, let us get this out.
I think the Respawn one still has the possibility, because I know some of the guys. They've got some of the some really talented writers working on it. Some people that I know. I think it has the potential to be really, really fun. The story, where the story is set, the little that I know about it suggests that this could be really good. Respawn are obviously
incredibly
terrific
developers. For a quick aside on your point, like, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Of like, on paper, right? This is like, oh my God, what a brilliant fucking move. It's very much, oh man, they're giving Spider-Man to Insomniac. Yes, Insomniac, a studio that makes Resistance games and keeps making Ratchet & Clank games, and these games are always good, but they don't get the fanfare they deserve anymore. Flip side of Respawn now, right? Of like, oh my God, Titanfall 1 and Titanfall 2 got a raw deal. I really hope this is a breakout hit for them.
Who would be your dream, given, let's say the EA license becomes a free enterprise tomorrow. They take it away, and now it's like, whoever wants to come and make a Star Wars game will listen to you. We're gonna hand out Star Wars licenses on a case-by-case basis. Who would be your dream developer for a Star Wars game?
Wow, how much? What's your subscription tier on patreon.com/kindoffunnygames?
What's my personal tier?
Yeah. 0? Then I'm going to let Darth Blog speak. He wrote into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and says, good morning, KF crew. I'm sure you're getting a lot of questions about EA and their canceled Star Wars project, so I'll make mine unique. Imagine a perfect world where Disney scrapped the EA deal tomorrow and decided to allow studios and developers to come and pitch their own ideas for Star Wars games.
Here on this question. Okay.
What are some studios you'd like to see with the Star Wars IP, and what kind of game would you like to see them make? Open world, hero shooter, RTS, anything is on the table. Thanks for all the hard work. And Gary, my condolences for the loss of Harry Kane. IIRC, you're a Tottenham fan?
Tottenham.
What the hell is he talking about?
Harry Kane, who is our best player, our star player, is out injured for a couple of months.
Oh, okay, but he's alive.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I've been future-proofing the shows lately and giving out a lot of rest in pieces. People
but if
who
you
are
can't
alive
kick a ball, you might as well be dead in that profession.
Yeah, no, okay.
So he's dead for a couple of months, basically.
Here's what I would love to see right now. In your perfect world, Darth Blog.
Yeah.
It's happened. They've pulled the license. All bets are off the table. Come talk to us. Come give us a pitch, right?
What do you think the chances are that would actually happen? Do you think EA really will pull this license?
Well, you mean Star Wars? If they'll pull it from them?
I mean, do you think Disney will pull the license?
If they have
EA?
the shot, yes, I do. If
legally they can.
Yeah.
If legally they can, I think we have reached the point where that is the diligent thing to do.
I mean, Disney is a company that, I mean, you know better than me, being more from the entertainment side, but from what I feel, they care a lot about their image. And generally their image is like, hey, everything's going really fucking well. So the fact that every video game story is, hey, everything sucks. I'm sure they're like, why? What are we, you know what I mean? And it is that thing of looking at what everybody's doing and how the video game industry's changed in 6 years. I'm sure they're like, this was a dumb idea. This was not the right way to do this. We should have brought in a czar on our own side that works for us, that is our video game guy, build a video game team and have them work with our licenses and put them out where they need to be.
Right.
Darth Blog, here's what I would say. You want a megaton of what it would be? I would want this. I would say it's all blown up, it's torn apart, everything's done. Ladies and gentlemen, close your eyes unless you're driving your car, then keep your eyes open and continue to listen. It is E3 2019. As you know, all press conferences are dead. So at the Xbox conference, they do their whole thing.
I like the picture you're painting here. This is a very vivid vision of the future.
Phil Spencer walks out, takes the stage after some announcement and stuff and trailer, and everybody's happy. And he's like, as many of you know, we love Star Wars here. And everybody goes crazy. They understand what's about to happen. They're like, oh my God, I love Star Wars too. And everybody has lightsabers for some reason. And he's like, our friends at we've been working with our friends at Disney, and what did they? Would you say Lucas anything anymore? Or is it just we've been working with our friends at Disney
And Lucasfilm.
and Lucasfilm? Is that still the thing?
Yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
cool to say Lucasfilm.
It's January. So since January, we've been talking to our friends at Lucasfilm, at Disney about what to do with this and how we want to work with them and how more than anything we want something exclusive. So we went in and like obviously it's going to take a while to get a game up and running. We went in, let's just show you. And
I really want to know where you're going with this.
They step back and it's a female voice talking and it's Amy. And you fade up and it's Amy talking with some Star Wars stuff behind her. And it turns out that they got all the ragtag stuff. They brought it back. They brought on Amy. They brought back on Todd. They've assembled the thing and they're making ragtag. They're
basically making the game that was canceled.
They bought everything up and hey, what this game needed is TLC and somewhere to incubate. At Microsoft, this is going to be an exclusive Xbox One, Xbox 2 game.
You know what's great about that is that Xbox would finally have its Uncharted.
Dude,
it would be Star Wars Uncharted.
It wouldn't. I mean, yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It wouldn't even be. It's going to sell way more than Uncharted. It's going to sell Xboxes, and it's going to be the fact of like we believe. Well, I'm Phil again. We believe in games. We believe in quality. We're giving her and the team. We've moved them into the Coalition Studios. That's the Santa Monica one, right? Am I saying no? The Coalition's the Gears one. What's the Santa Monica Xbox studio? Barrett's on a check for me. We've moved them down there. They're all working on it. We're going to give them all the time they need. We're hoping it'll be this, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. But like, hey, we've picked up, because I think it's just such a goodwill move. Yeah. Of like, no, we understand you. I mean, the only way to make it better would be like, we picked up all of them and we also picked up the 1313 people and they're all making it. The initiative. That's what I was getting confused on. Thank you.
Why do you keep saying Barrett? He's super slow. Look at him. He's still looking up Coalition.
I just assume everything he's showing me is from Barrett, you know?
Fuck off.
Literally yesterday on a Kind of Funny podcast, I asked Kevin, like, hey, Google this question. He's like, I can't find an answer. And I Googled the question. The first link was what I wanted. You know
I
what
Googled the wrong thing.
What about you?
I mean, what's tricky is because this would tie them back into EA, but I would love to see BioWare given something to do.
Oh.
But they're locked into EA, so it wouldn't work because you're taking the license away from EA.
Are they still making content for the MMO?
I believe they are, but
Okay.
it's very. I mean, when do you ever hear anything about the Old Republic these days?
I hear you. I agree. That's what I was saying. I don't know if it's still happening.
Let me think. Yeah, I would love to see just like I don't need an MMO, but I'd love to see. I wish they would just bring. Here's what I would want to see.
Here we go. Everybody close your eyes. Unless you're driving, keep them open.
Let's say that they've said, okay, to EA, you're no longer are the exclusive steward of this license, but you are welcome along with everyone else to come in and pitch, on an open basis. And so here's all I want: BioWare, Knights of the Old Republic 3.
Oh my God!
What would be wrong? What would be wrong with that?
Nothing. That's a world I want to live in, Gary. That's a world I want to live in. You know what I mean?
Now you are talking. So I don't know what's going to happen. I kind of do feel like that Disney should pull the license. I mean, so after Jason tweeted out his story yesterday, I retweeted it and said, tomorrow's KFGD
it's going to be lit.
It's going to be lit. And you retweeted it.
Yeah.
And so my timeline blew up, and it was a lot of people saying, Jesus Christ, just take the license away from EA. And I must have seen that 20, 30 times, people saying EA should not have this license anymore. Like, just give it to someone else, because the return on 5 years is atrocious.
Yeah.
This is halfway through their deal.
Yeah.
And they've got to show for it is 2 Battlefront games, both of which had major problems. And then and then nothing but bad PR. Just a sea of bad PR from Amy's game closing, from this now closing. I'm telling you, the Respawn guys, they better have something good up their sleeves. I mean, there's a good chance they do, but they really need something special up their sleeves, because that's the only thing they've got left.
Yeah.
I don't know what this 2020 game is they're talking about. It must be. Now, here's the thing.
Yeah.
The 2020 game, there's no way they're just spinning that up now for 2020. That must be something that's already in development.
Yeah.
That they're rerouting
You would
assets
hope so.
to,
You
right?
would fucking hope so, yeah.
So I don't know what that is.
Who the hell knows, yeah.
Anyway, what a shame. It's just a crying shame, Greg.
Number 2, another game's been canceled. This is from Ubisoft. I'm going to read Shabana Arif's story at IGN. The sci-fi game discovered in a secret trailer hidden in Watch Dogs 2 has been canned, according to former studio employees. Former creative director Alex Hutchinson tweeted out a link to the in-game trailer that was discovered in 2016, saying RIP Pioneer. Former Ubisoft animator Jonathan Cooper sent out a similar tweet. The game, codenamed Pioneer, was reportedly a space exploration game expected to be officially announced in 2017. At the time of its discovery, Kotaku reported that development had hit a hurdle, with Ubisoft replacing many of the leads on the game, resulting in it being retooled. Quote, when they decided to make the Easter egg in Watch Dogs 2, they didn't know it was going to be like this, so it's a bit awkward, a second source said. Some had wondered whether Pioneer had eventually become Starlink, Battle for Atlas, but it seems this game was never formally announced before its untimely demise.
So they kind of announced the game through a secret trailer in Watch Dogs.
Yeah, and correct me if I'm wrong, kindoffunny.com/you're wrong. This is also the mission. There was a mission in Watch Dogs to infiltrate Ubisoft and get like information about it.
Ubisoft is actually in the game.
Oh, of course, yeah. The SF, the old SF office is in there. Yeah,
cool,
yeah.
okay.
Yeah, so you went in there and got it and stuff. So it was just a nice little wink and a nod, and people were like, is this a real game? And then there was the trailer. And
All these games getting cancelled. This is a bit depressing.
Well, I think it's...
Do we have any good news this week?
Yeah, the next one's a good news, but I'll get there in a second. This one, not nearly on the level of Star Wars, and then also I think it's important that games get canceled all the time. We don't usually know about them, right? That's usually the big thing. Lots of games are in development all the time that we'll never see about or hear about, and people are spending a year and a half, 2 years pre-production ramping up to this, and then it gets squashed.
Yeah.
This is just another one of like, well, they, nodded it out. They put it out there. The nanobiologist says you're correct. The hack in Ubisoft and leak for the fake trailer. Thank you very much. So yeah, that's happening. More power to everybody. Number 3, IO Interactive has a new studio. This is from James Batchelor at GamesIndustry.biz. Hitman developer IO Interactive has opened a new studio. Based in Malmo, Sweden. Gary, you're foreign, is that right? Malmo, is that how you say it?
Malmo, yeah, that's right.
But it's got the umlaut
It's
over
got a
the
little
O.
umlaut, but I don't think you don't say the O in a strange way or anything.
The second branch will work closely with the company's main studio in Copenhagen. The office is already fully operational with plans to expand the current team. IO Interactive CEO Hakan Abrak said the opening makes IOI part of the buzzing game development community already established in Malmo and enables the company to capitalize on the wealth of development talent found in Scandinavia. The team is already working on supporting the Hitman franchise, most likely with post-launch content for last year's Hitman 2, but there is talk of new projects. Quote, this will expand our muscles for creating brand new and exciting endeavors, new universes, and new franchises, said Abrak. In other words, IO, Malmo, and Copenhagen are one family. Malmo is already home to developers such as the Division Studio Massive Entertainment and Simogo, the indie studio behind Year Walk and Device 6. Abrak said the talent in the region made the Swedish city a natural choice for IO's second studio. So that's good news, Gary.
Sweden really is a hotbed of game development, isn't it?
From what I hear. I don't know.
You've got DICE out there as well, right?
Sure. Yeah, exactly. However, Parker Petrov writes in to patreon.com/kindoffunnygames and says, hey, Greg and Gary. Well, I'm sure you were flooded with questions about EA canceling Project Ragtag at EA Vancouver. You actually mean Orca. It's confusing. They can't keep canceling projects. I was actually curious your thoughts on the IO opening the second studio.
It'd be funny if they did just cancel Ragtag again.
Hey, just
because that's
a heads up.
That's all they know how to do. It's like, what should we do? Well, let's cancel something. Well, we canceled that one already.
Nobody will
cancel it again? That's kind of what we do around here.
I was under the impression Hitman 2 didn't do that well in sales. Is it more common than it seems for a studio that, while not new, they are newly independent to be opening a second studio? I wouldn't have expected IO to be that flush with capital. Parker Petrov. Of course, yes, there are many a rumor as Hitman 2 sales not that impressive. I Googled around for it. It's based on people playing on Steam, sales going on. I could not find an article that was like, hey, here's what the actual numbers are. Right. Of course, digital sales are harder to track, where it's been going, blah, 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 blah. When I was looking into it and finding, I guess there had been Hitman 2 cutscenes weren't really a thing because of them trying to save money and do these different cost-cutting measures. My thoughts would be that Square dumps IO and gives them Hitman on their way out, right? Because it didn't move enough copies for what Square wants.
Right.
I think based on those numbers, even though from what again, Steam Spy and people, comparing, contrasting, numbers were down based on the last Hitman. I still think IO had a great idea of what it would probably sell and how it would do, not to mention how it will continue to sell, as that is a game that continues to be pushed around and talked about.
How long before THQ Nordic buys Hitman?
There you go. That's a great question, right? Yeah, exactly.
It's only a matter of time.
See how I would imagine what this means and points to is that when IO left and went independent and probably found investors, they had hey, here's our strategic plan and what our goals are and where we want to take everything. And you get Hitman 2 out because, of course, Hitman's cool. We're going to ride this wave of success we have and then go from there.
It's tough though, because if the model is to release a game, and we're seeing this increasingly now with things like the Assassin's Creed franchises, where instead of doing new games all the time, they support them over an extended period with DLC. Mm-hmm. And Hitman, the Hitman games these days now, with the kind of the way the episodic content is rolled out, that's kind of an ongoing thing as well. But if your new game doesn't sell that well, you're not going to keep throwing good money after bad and developing content for a game that didn't sell very well. So you do have to change your plans. If that's what's happening, I don't know.
I would imagine, again, I think that when they went for investment, this is what they were planning on doing. And, no word, at least not in this games industry biz article, how big the new studio is and stuff.
Right.
But you bring in people and maybe they're going to do smaller things to get more revenue and capital going. Gary, would you believe we have breaking news about this cancellation of Orca?
Oh, really?
Jason
literally
Schreier
coming in at this moment?
Jason Schreier 6 minutes ago updated his story on Kotaku.com and says, the day after publication of this story, EA sent over the following statement.
Here's the official statement. Get ready for some word salad, Greg.
There's been speculation overnight about one of our Star Wars projects. As a natural part of the creative process, the great work by our team in Vancouver continues and will evolve into future Star Wars content and games. We're fully committed to making more Star Wars games. We're very excited about Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order from Respawn, and we'll share more about our new projects when the time is right.
So really, a whole lot of nothing.
Just, hey, yeah, the things they were working on.
They knew they had to say something.
Their thing is dead, but it's being rolled over into something else.
But they also need to say as little as possible.
Sacre bleu. Gary, I'm going to come back to you for a transition. All right.
Okay.
But before then, I'm going to put the ads in here.
All right.
The one ad from Skillshare.
Okay.
If you didn't know today, ladies and gentlemen, we're brought to you by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community for creators with more than 25,000 classes in design, business, and more. Premium membership gives you unlimited access so you can join the classes and communities that are just right for you and your New Year goals. Whether you want to fuel your curiosity, creativity, or even career, Skillshare is the perfect place to keep you learning and thriving in 2019. Tim learned a ton about sound design and After Effects that he used for all those kind of funny 4.0 graphics and videos you've seen on all the new shows. And he loves the tutorials, he says. Skillshare is also super affordable. An annual subscription is less than $10 a month. Join more than 7 million creators learning with Skillshare. The first 500 of my subscribers, to use the link in the description of this video on youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, get a 2-month trial for free. That's right. Go to youtube.com/kindoffunnygames. Be one of the first 500 people to click it. Get 2 months of Skillshare for free. Gary?
Yes.
I'm excited to see what you're going to learn with Skillshare. You know what I mean? Yeah.
But that might take a while.
Yeah, exactly. If I needed something more imminent, like say what came to the mom and grab shops, where would I go?
You like that one, Kevin?
I did.
The official list of upcoming software across each and every platform, as listed by the Kind of Funny Games Daily Show hosts, each and every weekday.
Yeah. Out today, Planet Rick's 13 on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and Switch. Bash the Bear on Switch.
Now this one was the source of some conversation before the show.
Yeah.
So we were talking about a game called Bash the Bear.
Yeah.
And it's on Switch.
Yeah.
I don't know, with the Joy-Con and everything, it just makes me feel like that could be something very inappropriate. Yeah.
And then Eden Tomorrow has a free PlayStation VR demo you can download right now.
Can we see Bash the Bear, Kevin? Do we have time for
Kevin's
that?
on it.
Yeah,
Because I've got to know what it
I'll
is.
get you, bro.
New dates for you. Wander Song is coming to the PlayStation 4 on January 22nd. Pipe Push Paradise comes.
There's another one, Pipe Push Paradise.
I don't even wanna
What
touch
is
it.
going on today, Greg?
They're out of
It's like
names.
double entendres every which way.
You can get it on PlayStation 4 and Xbox One on February 5th. Katana Zero comes to PC and console in March. Defense Grid 2 comes to Switch on February 7th. And then Xbox Game Pass is adding the following titles on the following dates. We Happy Few, January 17th. The Lego Movie video game, January 17th. Middle-earth, Shadow of Mordor, January 24th. Saints Row the 3rd, January 24th.
One of my all-time favorites.
Really?
I love Saints Row. Do you like the Saints Row games?
I liked 2, and then I never really got back to it.
3 and 4 are just so good.
Yeah?
I love them.
Okay, the Dildo Bats. That's
Because they just went off a cliff with
Sure.
like how crazy they were.
Yeah. And then Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3 on January 10th. Kevin has brought up
All right, we got some Bash the Bear here. Let's take a look.
2 seconds. seconds.
He needs 2 seconds. We have a Bash the Bear Nintendo Switch gameplay, 12 minutes.
This is 13 minutes of Bash the Bear gaplay. I think we'll probably only need a few seconds, but let's take a look.
While you do that, Kevin.
It's already happening.
Oh, sorry. Why? Here we go. All right, so you're running around. You got a carrot phone. Oh, no.
Oh, it looks like maybe some kind of puzzle game?
Oh, yeah.
Like,
you shoot one thing and then it shoots the other thing. It's kind of like
Angry Birds, but from like a top view perspective.
Sure, that's a good one, Kevin. I was gonna say some kind of Peggle, but like, you're right.
Yeah, sure.
But the same kind of
It
mechanics.
looks cute.
Bash the Bear. So I'm gonna.
So it's like
Peggle.
Peggle meets Angry Birds.
He shoots the thing and picks up
Shoot
the
that.
mushroom, bounce. Oh yeah, it's a puzzler.
So you need to bash the bear. You need to chart
the bear,
a path.
yeah.
Okay, all right, I get it.
Seems like it'd be great trophies. Just putting that out there if they want to bring it over.
Is the fan
Give
on?
it some platinums. No, that's the rain. The fan isn't on. It's raining so hard in San Francisco right now that it's
Shit, it's raining.
Are you not hearing? It's really coming down.
That's what he thought the fan
I
was.
got
Yeah.
cans
Oh
on
no,
right now.
that's
I can't hear.
hardcore rain.
Time to squad up. This is where one of you bronze members writes into patreon.com/kindoffunnygames. Give me your name, username, platform of choice, and why you need help in a video game. I read it here. The best friends come and find you, and everybody has fun together. Today, Deric needs help on the PlayStation 4. His PSN name, TheCakersMan. TheCakersMan, all one word. I'm looking for a few people to team up with in Firewall 0 Hour. I'm new to the game and feel like I could use some best friends to help me understand the ways of this VR world. I'm a dad and can only play after my kid goes to bed around between 9 and 11 Eastern. Thanks. Deric. Worth pointing out, I didn't get it. Kev, while I keep going, if you get this from me too, go to my Twitter. I retweeted and said, do it. I think if you're a PlayStation Plus member, I think you can get Firewall 0 Hour for a limited amount of time for a demo. And it's highly recommended.
Wait,
Highly enjoyable.
What do you want me to do?
Go to my Twitter and find out the dates for Firewall 0 Hour.
Oh, okay.
While that happens, we have a rotating segment. That's right! It's back. This time, Phobos the Phucking Phantastic writes in, and they spelled everything with a PH. That's how you can get through the censors, you know what I mean?
Nice.
There's no sensors.
This trophy can go fuck itself. Hermes Homie in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. My map is completely cleared. There is no gray left. However, I do not have this trophy. Apparently, you have to step foot on every single landmass. The problem is, I have no idea which landmass I haven't stepped on because, as I mentioned above, my map is fucking clear. Greg, did you have problems with this? Suggestions? Feel free to insert the angry voice where appropriate. Thanks, Phobos the Phucking Phantastic.
Any tips, Greg? Did you platinum AC Odyssey?
Hell yeah,
Okay, so
platinum
you've got
AC
this. You
Odyssey.
have this trophy.
Yeah, has Leah gone and done the DLC that dropped yesterday yet?
The drop yesterday.
Yeah.
For Odyssey.
Yeah, they put
no,
out
I don't think
episode
so.
2. Yeah, I didn't get to it last night. I'm very upset about it.
She'll be excited to hear about that. Though.
Yeah, go do it. I didn't have a problem with this one, Deric. I got it. This was not one of my last ones, but it was just bouncing around doing it. You have to. I'm sure I'm giving you stuff you already know. Really zoom in on the map. Some of the topography looks like the same stuff that it looks like when it clears.
Right.
So you just have to make sure you did it. You can also Google around. When I was worried about this, I went and Googled normally missed places and stuff.
Yeah.
There's a few that are like super, super tiny.
There's some really teeny tiny islands.
Yeah.
Little micro islands.
Kevin has brought it up for me. Yeah, PlayStation tweeted today. Squad up. Hey, wait a second. They're stealing our shit. PS members get a Firewall 0 Hour free trial weekend, January 18th through the 20th. And
Is
there's
that
details
fun
over
to
there.
play if you don't have the gun attachment?
Yeah, I mean, it's cooler with the gun. You feel
Way
like a badass,
cooler.
you know what
Yeah.
I mean? But yeah, you can definitely still do it with a DualShock.
You
Okay.
feel so badass.
You need the gun, though. Yeah. Get
Yeah.
the gun. Get the gun.
It makes
Gary.
life better.
It does make it gun.
Yeah.
Time for You're Wrong. Of course, I've been spicing them in as we go. Thank you so much for all your help. I did see this one earlier. Dante064 said the Mortal Kombat announcement is actually tomorrow, Greg, January 17th, not today. Good call. Sorry, I'm very confused on the dates these days because life is just one giant work week lately. All sorts of stuff people had already talked about. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. That's okay. That's not really no.
I always like it when there aren't many you're wrongs. Means we did our job right.
So like you missed this news, and I'm like, man, it doesn't really count as news. So I'm just putting it out there. You know what I mean? Yeah, we didn't say anything wrong. People are saying we didn't say this or that, and I don't know if that counts.
We did good.
Ladies and gentlemen, This has been Kinda Funny Games Daily. Each and every weekday on a variety of platforms, we run you the nerdy video game news you need to know about. If you like that, be part of the show. Patreon.com/kindafunnygames, where all the month of January, we are fundraising for Kinda Funny's future. If you enjoy any of the content we make, it'd be awesome if you went over there and either gave us a new pledge or increased your pledge. Every dollar that's new, whether it be a new pledge or an increase, will go towards a whole bunch of stretch goals we have. We're already going on a world tour. We might be going over to London. We might be going to Australia. A whole bunch of things happening. We need to plan a whole bunch of other things. We're doing another live stream. Whole bunch of shenanigans happening over there. So please, if you can, donate. If you can't, though, no big deal. You can watch us record the show live for free. Twitch.tv/kindafunnygames. I'm about to read subs and resubs and tips in between them going to the next show. And of course, you can watch later. YouTube.com/kindafunnygames and listen on podcast services around the globe. Thursday, it's going to be Jared and Tim. Friday, it's going to be Andrea and Tim. Remember, I'm headed to New York City, where I'll be hosting the Star Trek Discovery Season 2 red carpet. You can check it out on Facebook.com/Star Trek CBS Thursday night. We'll be putting up on YouTube.com/kindafunny later. Gary.
Who are you excited to meet in particular at the red carpet?
Michael Burnham, you kidding me?
Yeah.
She's the main character of the show.
Yeah.
I liked her.
But given that it's Star Trek, don't you think that they might also have like some classic Star Trek actors and stuff there?
I don't want to get ahead of myself. You know what I mean? I don't want to start dreaming too big there. You know what I mean?
Because they probably invite Shatner and stuff to
You'd
these
think
things.
so, right? Yeah.
He's got better things to do.
Come on.
Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's been our pleasure to serve you.